his training camps were the stuff of legend. I mean, he would spar 100 rounds a week sometimes, which is just insane.
Yeah. So who do you like in Canelo versus Crawford?
Well, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1000%.
Joe Rogan has reacted to Crawford's intense preparation for the Canelo fight. He emphasizes Crawford's superior switch hitting abilities and adaptability, implying that they might offset Canelo's raw power and expertise despite the size disadvantage. He expresses concern that Crawford must be large enough to resist Canelo's destructive strikes and warns about the potential of being outmatched.
Crawford's about to fight.
Yes, he's going to fight Canelo.
Oh, man.
I just hope he's big enough. I hope he's big enough to keep that dude off him because Canelo hits so hard, man.
That's one dude that, like, I believe all the shit he be talking.
Crawford? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's good.
He don't just be saying shit.
They tried to say that, like, Errol Spence was damaged because of what Crawford did to him because he was damaged from the car accident. I'm like, maybe. Or maybe Crawford would have done that 3 years ago. I think he's that good. He's just so skillful. He's so slick. And when he gets, and he's also the best guy in the sport at switch hitting. He'll go from southpaw to orthodox and be just as good and trip you up. Like, you think he's going to start southpaw, he starts orthodox. You prepare for orthodox, he's fighting southpaw. He feels like he's got you timed better orthodox, he'll switch it up.
Rogan does not mince words. He is definitely pulling for Crawford in the mega fight against Canelo Alvarez. On a recent Joe Rogan Experience episode with Jim Lampley, he was asked who he prefers and immediately replied, Crawford, later explaining, I'm a huge Crawford fan because I believe he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also believe Canelo is slowing down. Rogan admires Crawford's fluid footwork, adaptability, and strategic finesse, despite Canelo's intimidating stature and power advantage.
Which I think is really interesting. The Crawford-Canelo fight.
Beyond interesting. Fascinating.
Because how does Crawford compete with that size? Crawford is leapfrogging. He goes to super middleweight.
47 to 54 and now to 68.
And the Madrigal fight in 54 is a difficult fight.
Yeah. So who do you like in Canelo versus Crawford?
Well, I'm a giant Crawford fan because I think he's the best switch hitter since Marvin Hagler. I also think he's one of those guys that if you tell him he can't do something, he wants to show you and shock the world.
1000%.
I also think Canelo is slowing down, and Canelo is more of a one-punch fighter now than the combination fighter he was when he was young. He uses strength and conditioning. There's very few fighters that just train using skill. Just train skills. Like George St. Pierre did that for a certain period of his career.
I wonder if there's anybody left in boxing who trains just using the gym skills. There were a lot of them when I was first involved in the sport who would never have touched a weight.
Right.
You know, they subscribed totally to the notion that that was negative.
Right. And the worst case, I mean, they definitely did calisthenics, but that was it. It was just body weight exercises, you know, which brings us to Crawford, which I think is really interesting. The Crawford-Canelo fight.
Beyond interesting. Fascinating.
Fascinating. Because how does Crawford compete with that size? And, you know, we have to recognize, okay, well, when Canelo fought Floyd, it was 152 pounds, right? So he had dropped down, which was a struggle for him, which is why Floyd was so brilliant in getting him to go down to 152, because he knew he would be drained.
52 or 54?
Rogan also advised Crawford not to enter the ring with Canelo without caution, citing size and power issues. He also stated that he would watch the fight, calling it perhaps the biggest fight in boxing. Rogan mentioned cartel mule runners on his podcast while breaking down the matchup, combining fight analysis with surprising cultural commentary.
When you look at the elite of the elite boxers, to a man, to every one of them, they're disciplined. Yeah. And they stay focused. I'm so excited to see this fight with Canelo Alvarez because I think the Saudi Arabians have so much money. They're throwing so much money at boxing. And the guy who's the head of boxing over there wants to make that fight happen. I think Terence Crawford, forget about the 3 weight classes. I think he can beat Canelo.
I think he can too.
Crawford spoke on the Joe Rogan Experience about his next fight with Errol Spence Jr. in 2023, stating that careful preparation was key. He explained to Rogan, "Everything you see fight night, we drilled it time and time again. The seamless execution in the ring can be attributed to intense repetition and training." Crawford also addressed worries about Canelo's stature, stating that while he is larger than me, that does not imply strength.
Actually, practicing it, that was something that when I had the cast on, I was like, man, I love the gym so much. I'm like, man, I'm not leaving the gym. Like, I'm going to practice with this left. And that's when I got the left stronger, because at first, when I go southpaw, it was only, my right. Then when my hand got messed up, just started working on the left, and it started getting stronger and stronger. And I started getting more accurate, because at first, just throw it just to be throwing it. And then, it just got to a point where my left was actually way stronger than my right.
Teddy Atlas sees the Canelo-Crawford fight as a classic size versus speed matchup. Canelo delivers raw power and home field advantage, although Crawford may have an edge in agility and ring IQ. When compared to Pacquiao's upset of De La Hoya, Atlas underlines Crawford's superior instincts, timing, and elusive style. Despite Canelo's demonstrated domination in higher weight classes, Atlas believes Crawford is something unique, capable of overcoming physical disadvantages via savvy, versatility, and intangible qualities that can influence the outcome.
Maybe he's a little overrated.
Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez at 168 pounds.
Canelo's really good. But I think Crawford is special. I know he hasn't fought the resume everyone wants, but you have that or you don't have that ingredient. I think he has it. Canelo's really good. He's tremendous. But could he be a tiny bit overrated? The greatness is within Crawford. It's in his desire, it's in his mind, it's in his makeup, where he came from. I know he's moving up in weight class, can he carry it? But those intangibles, I believe that he has them.
Crawford revealed a stunning bodily transformation while practicing for his super middleweight fight with Canelo Alvarez. Crawford, who had previously battled at 154 pounds, bulked up dramatically, walking around at 185 pounds, with earlier footage showing him reaching cruiserweight levels. Despite the extra muscle, he remained slender and defined, demonstrating the benefits of consistent training and conditioning. However, not all are convinced. Rob Besto, Crawford's strength coach, cautions that his rapid weight gain from 154 to 168 and beyond may jeopardize his speed and stamina when facing Canelo's superior power.
Size. Crawford coming in the ring, and Crawford doing everything he can to match Canelo's power, possibly size, and to, at a minimum, try to just maintain what speed he already possesses. Because, when you go up in weight, sometimes you compromise speed. So we know Crawford and his team are doing everything they can to, at a minimum, maintain his speed. But the question came up, okay, since Crawford is looking to come in the ring fast, powerful, we know he's already brilliant. Shit, what if Canelo comes in lighter? I'm like, lighter? Yeah, what happens if Canelo says, you know what, I'm not gonna try to come and just outweigh him by 20 pounds on fight night, because I realize I'm in there with somebody who's very agile and who's probably gonna be faster than me, and although I have timing, he has timing too, so I can't afford to be 2 or 3 steps behind Terence Crawford in my speed.
Boxing instructor Greg Hackett also believes Terence Crawford's knockout victory against Canelo Alvarez is unrealistic in today's 12-round format. Canelo, a seasoned opponent, would not go down so lightly. According to Hackett, Crawford lacks both monstrous punching power and the determination to go toe-to-toe and deal big blows. Instead, he anticipates a masterclass from Bud, precise boxing, over flash, and claims that only in the old 15-round format will Crawford's approach have the stamina and ability to wear Canelo down for a knockout. Meanwhile, tensions between the fighters are increasing as the fight approaches. Canelo joked that Crawford will discover what happens when a strong fighter steps up and his opponent is a great boxer. Crawford responded, "So that means you're a decent fighter, and Dimitri Bivol is a fantastic fighter, correct? Every time you stepped up, you failed." It was a harsh rebuke dripping with swagger and a stark reminder of Canelo's defeat to Bivol.
How do you feel like he will do going against somebody like a Canelo at 168?
I think Bud, man, one thing I love about Bud, he willing to challenge himself. And when you're willing to challenge yourself, you can surprise yourself. But that's a hell of a feeling. I think, to be honest, you don't want to sit there and brawl with Canelo, but at some point you're gonna have to fight him. You know what I'm saying? You can't let Canelo press you. You know what I'm saying? Because he's great at that, and he a bully. He is a bully. But Bud, I believe, got bully tendencies too. You know what I'm saying? And he could be crafty. But I think if he approach it the way he approached Spence, then we get a way better fight than people think. Now, what I saw when he approached Spence was, I can't make a mistake. I can't let him do too much. I can't let him be a bully. I think if he go at Canelo the same way, then we get a great fight on our hands. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he's gonna be that dominant, but I'm just saying I think we get a great fight on our hands.
Andre Ward, the former two-division world champion, gave Crawford a forthright endorsement in his upcoming fight with Canelo Alvarez. Ward elaborated, "I'm not betting Terence Crawford against anybody right now. Crawford is someone you can bet your house on." Despite conceding the considerable weight difference and danger of the clash, Ward stated that someone would have to show to him that they could break Crawford's will, which he has not seen anyone do. Dmitry Bivol, the WBA light heavyweight champion renowned for his technical prowess, has professed tremendous appreciation for Crawford. In interviews, he described Crawford as not only good, but fantastic, and stated that Crawford should be included in a book on how to study boxing for children. Bivol lauded Crawford as one of his favorite boxers ahead of the Canelo Alvarez fight, citing his amazing size and superior talents, while also stating that he feels Crawford can defeat Canelo.
I want to quickly ask you a couple of questions. Crawford, Spence. I know you watched the fight and you spoke about Crawford. How good is Crawford?
Crawford is amazing, not just good. He's amazing, and
he said the same thing about you.
Thank you, Terence. But I think he should be in the book for
is that good?
How to learn boxing. You know.
Really.
He's a very good fighter. Yeah, I like to watch his fights.
Pound for pound, #1.
Yeah, probably he is now because he is undisputed champion in 2 weight classes.
It's crazy.
He's a great fighter, yeah. To be honest, I didn't see, Crawford in real life. I don't know how big he is. But the size, when I came to boxing gym and my coach told me that one of the rules, it's like respect the weight classes, You should respect weight classes. But he has a very good skill. He's one of my favorite fighters. Active fighters.
Bernard Hopkins feels Crawford's overwhelming victory over Errol Spence Jr. had long-term implications. He claimed that what Crawford did in the ring effectively took 4 fights off Spence, implying that the punishment he received prematurely aged the former champion, impacting his future performance and durability. Hopkins predicted that the psychological and physical toll would last, affecting Spence's career trajectory far beyond the immediate loss. This viewpoint emphasizes Crawford's abilities not only as a fighter, but also as someone whose influence on his opponents lasts long after the bout is over.
Crawford. Billy Crawford, even though, fought twice, throughout the year, Crawford, was...
But look who he beat.
Undisputed.
Look who he beat. Look who he beat. What he did to Spence, and how he did it, that's 3 fights to me. And it took 4 fights out of Spence, right? Yeah, I'm a fighter, so I can tell you when you get punished like that.
Yeah, I was there ringside watching the fight.
It takes a few years out of you. Don't see the years right now, but it sort of takes something out of that person going forward. They still can beat some fights, but it really put a bruise on. You didn't see Spence fight yet, did you?
No.
Did you hear him name opponent for him to potentially fight? It's been quiet. You see the weight he gained?
Former champion Tim Bradley stays solidly in Terence Crawford's favor, giving him a 30 to 40% chance of defeating Canelo, while admitting Crawford's greater technique and ring IQ. Bradley is concerned about Canelo's size and power advantage, and whether the smaller Crawford can resist his powerful blows. Bradley points out that Crawford's intransigence could work against him. He cautioned that if he trades with Canelo, he risked being cut.
One more thing. It don't matter if Canelo is on that. He ain't beat no Terrence Crawford. You heard it here first. Plus, I look at the performances of Canelo. I look at his last performances. I mean, they've been all right. You know, they ain't been like, you know, wow, you know, blew me away. So I'm not really worried about all of that. And the same thing goes with Crawford. I know he's with Snack, and I know some news came out this week and all of that, but I personally believe that Snack is clean. I think it's a conflict of interest, the fact that, hey, he knows how to beat the system, quote unquote, Mr. Conte, but at the same time, I think Snack, you got products going around the world, this and that. I mean, all these athletes are testing. They're not testing anything or positive by using Snack at all. So I think they're safe. There's no doubt about it. So with that being said, I'm not worried about that. As long as they testing, I'm good.
Robert Garcia provided a refreshingly realistic assessment on Canelo Alvarez's attitude to his recent battles, particularly following Edgar Berlanga's setback. He mentioned that Canelo no longer goes for knockouts, he does only enough to win. According to Garcia, Alvarez has adopted a more cautious approach, dropping opponents but frequently choosing not to finish them. This strategic method, he stated, is to save his body for future battles, implying Canelo still has knockout power but prefers to cruise when victory is guaranteed.
Why is it that Shiraz was able to knock out Berlanga but not Canelo?
It's because Canelo doesn't go out for the knockout anymore. Canelo's just now, you know, we've seen in the last few fights, he just does enough to win. He did the same again, Munguia. He dropped Munguia, but then they didn't want to finish him. Charlo, Berlanga. He wants to cruise through the fight. You know, he's up there, you know, in not in age because he's only like 33 or 34, but he's
fighting since 15.
He was 15. A lot of training camps, a lot of sparring matches. So all that takes a lot out of your body. So he takes care of his body too. So he doesn't go all out because he doesn't want to just finish his body. He knows he still has a few more years and a few big fights where he wants to take care of himself and not punish himself too much. That's why he hasn't been able to knock those guys out. Not because he can't. I think he just does enough to win. I think Shiraz also has great power, man. I think Shiraz has the power that nobody believed he had.
Virgil Ortiz Jr. isn't shy about his prediction for the Canelo vs. Crawford fight. He believes Canelo will clearly win. Ortiz argues that despite Crawford's weight gain of 180 pounds, he simply stated that gaining weight and being a super middleweight are not the same thing.
I don't think he is, but if he beats Canelo, he'll be like my #1 fighter of all time.
You don't think Crawford beats Canelo?
I don't think so. And look, hear me out. I respect Crawford and everything that he's doing, but he just moved up from 147, so I'm just gonna treat him as a 147 pounder. He's jumping up 3 weight classes to fight someone who was like the #1 fighter in all of boxing. You know, the jump would be hard, even if it was just like some top 10.
Right.
You know,
Bud, would you say he's a very smart fighter?
Yes.
Very calculated,
Yes.
right? Don't you think that maybe he sees something that most people aren't seeing?
I think he does, but the thing is he gonna be able to even like to capitalize on it? Because he's a smaller fighter, and look, I think people are thinking at the aspect of, can Crawford do it? Yes, I think he can do it, but can Canelo do it? And I think he has a bigger chance of doing it than Crawford does.
Favors him.
Now, Canelo, he has obviously the size advantage, the strength advantage, intellect. I think Crawford edges him out in IQ. I just think the weight difference is going to be the deciding factor here. I mean, like, when I seen Canelo's check hook against Berlanga, that shit was like this. You know, and Canelo's not slow either. Like, this shit was, I didn't see that coming at all. He just dropped him, and I was just like, damn, he still got it. I just think that Crawford just bit off a little more than he can chew, but if he can chew it and he beats him, which I think he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he has 0% chance. I'm just thinking Canelo wins. But if he does, he will be my #1 fighter of all time.
Wow, I always knew that you had a lot of respect and admiration for him.
He highlights Crawford's size disadvantage, claiming that getting hit cleanly by Canelo is bad news describing it as a clear victory for the Mexican icon. However, Ortiz recognizes Crawford's brains and power, stating that if Crawford wins, he will elevate him to GOAT status.
I think he has a bigger chance of doing it than Crawford does.
Favors him.
Now, Canelo, he has obviously the size advantage, the strength advantage, intellect. I think Crawford edges him out in IQ. I just think the weight difference is going to be the deciding factor here. I mean, like, when I seen Canelo's check hook against Berlanga, that shit was like this. You know, and Canelo's not slow either. Like, this shit was, I didn't see that coming at all. He just dropped him, and I was just like, damn, he still got it. I just think that Crawford just bit off a little more than he can chew, but if he can chew it and he beats him, which I think he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he has 0% chance. I'm just thinking Canelo wins. But if he does, he will be my #1 fighter of all time.
Wow, I always knew that you had a lot of respect and admiration for him.
Do you think Terence Crawford's training provides him an advantage when he fights Canelo? Share your predictions in the comments.